So if you look through the viewfinder and you see any dust particles, that means that it's not the sensor, it's actually the mirror that has the dust. You will never see the sensor dust when you look through the viewfinder. So if you want to clean the mirror itself, again, without raising the mirror for sensor access, all you need to do is tilt it like this, use the blower, and blow it all out. That works 90% of the time. If you have anything that's stuck on there, then a brush or some other solution might be necessary. But you know, I've had these cameras for years and I've never had to do that. There's a very small chance that anything other than dust will actually settle on that mirror. So the second part is the chamber. How do you clean the chamber? Again, the dust blower is the best way, and if you have anything that's stuck in there, then what I would do is just there are special swabs, and Visible Dust also has those swabs that you can actually use to clean the chamber. And there are different types of swabs, and they're the ones that actually stick. So they will, whatever particles are inside on the walls of the chamber walls, then they will actually remove it. I don't have them here with me, but you can also, I will provide the link to the chamber swabs as well. Again, not something that you use on an everyday basis, but every once in a while, maybe once in 6 months, you might need to use it just to make sure that your chamber stays clean. Don't be too frantic about it, because if you overwork it, you might actually introduce more dust. That's kind of the thing about cleaning the sensor, is whenever you clean the sensor, your objective is to remove the dust, not introduce more dust. What a lot of photographers end up doing is unfortunately the latter, which they will introduce more dust by, again, working in a dusty environment or not doing this right. So main things to keep in mind: keep your camera pointed down whenever you change lenses, and then whenever you need to clean the sensor, make sure that you work in a dust-free environment and do everything as I showed, and you should be in good shape. Now let's talk about the last part, which is post cleanup and maintenance. So after you're done cleaning the sensor, how do you keep that sensor from gathering more dust? Unfortunately, it's not something that you can completely eliminate, but you can take some actions in order to reduce the amount of dust going into the camera. The most amount of dust that goes into the camera is the result of using lenses. Lenses, optically, they have to be constructed in a way where the lens breathes, where it will take from air from the front of the lens or from the side of the lens, and it will actually suck up that air, and then whenever you zoom in and out, the elements inside the lens also move in and out. Obviously, if there is vacuum inside or if there's air inside and it's trapped, you won't be able to move freely. That's why they designed these lenses to be able to breathe, and that's why they inhale and exhale in a way with this air. Now, if the air is very dusty, or if the exterior of the lens is very dusty, the dust might get sucked into the lens, eventually will end up inside the lens, and then it might end up inside the sensor. So what I would recommend is to keep your gear clean in order to decrease the amount of potential dust that might end up being on your sensor. How do you do this? Very easy maintenance. All you have to do is, after you come back from a busy photo shoot or from a dusty environment, like if you go to sand dunes or something, or shoot near the ocean where there's a lot of dust, what I would do is, as soon as you come back, then just take the same microfiber cloth. I have 3 or 4 of these. They're really cheap, like $2-3 per cloth, and I have one for cleaning the front element of the lens. I have one for cleaning the exterior of the lens and the camera, you know, and 3 as a spare. So what I would do is, really, after you come back, take one microfiber cloth, apply some alcohol, like medical alcohol, or one of these optic cleaning solutions, works pretty well, and maybe 6-7 drops, whatever, and just wipe it like this. If you came from a really dusty environment and the dust is stuck in between, what really works for me, and might work for you as well, I just use a toothbrush. This works great. It's very hard, so instead of using the soft brush, I use a hard brush. and I just go like this. And I don't know where I got this. I think I just found it somewhere at home. Maybe we got some as a freebie or something. But works great. So you just do it like this, and most of the dust will fall off. And then after you do this, just use microfiber cloth to and some solution applied on it to clean, and you should be in good shape. Now, if you're using a zoom lens like the new 28-300 or the 18-200 or whatever other zoom lens, the ones that extend, that's kind of their vulnerable area, is when the zoom lens extends, if there's dust sitting on it, that dust goes sucked back in. So when you zoom in and out, that dust might actually go inside the lens, might end up inside the lens, might end up inside your camera chamber. So just make sure that if you're using a zoom lens, just extend it all out, zoom in all the way or zoom out, whichever way extends the front, and then just clean that area very well. And once you do that, just use the blower, blow it all out, and you should be in good shape. So by cleaning the lenses and keeping them clean, you will decrease the amount of dust that goes into the sensor or into the camera. And the second thing, like I showed you earlier, just keep it pointed down. If you're shooting outside and you need to change lenses, if you have 5-6 lenses and you're shooting primes, zooms, whatever, if you need to change the lens, keep it pointed down, unmount the lens, take another lens, put it back on, you should be in good shape. Don't do this like many photographers do, which is just, you're asking for trouble right there. I mean, if you're shooting outside, even if you don't see with your eyes, there is dust everywhere. So if you're doing this, dismounting it like this and mounting back on, whatever dust is on the air will fall inside the chamber. So those are kind of important tips, and if you follow them right, if you do this on a regular basis, just keep them clean. And whenever you need to store your gear, just put it inside your camera bag. And if you're storing it inside the house, what I would do is just use the plastic bags that came with the cameras and the lenses, put them inside those and store them safely. Again, in a moisture-free, dust-free environment. It's just a safe way to keep your camera and your gear clean. I hope that covers most of what we want to discuss today. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop a comment below this video, and I will be more than glad to take a look at your question, and I will do my best to answer it as soon as possible. But again, please be careful. The sensor is the most important part of the camera. It's like your eyes. If you damage the sensor, then your camera is basically toast. So I mean, at that point, you might want to send it back to the manufacturer for repair, but it will cost you a lot of money. It's not worth it. So just be careful with the process. Charge up your camera and clean it like I explained, and you should be in good shape. All right, well, thank you very much, and have a good one.